What's going on YouTube? So the Audi Q8 has been known as Audi's flagship luxury SUV since it debuted. However, this is the Q8 E-Tron, the full electric version that actually is not at all related to the gas version. So for $90,000, which Q8 should you buy? Well, let's go ahead, find out. Now, like I was just saying, the gas Q8 and this electric Q8, known as the E-Tron, are not related at all. This actually was previously known as just the E-Tron, but now things have been rebranded to kind of fit into their increasingly electrified lineup. Now, what do you get on the outside? Well, of course, you're going to get a sleek exterior look. As you can see up here in the front, we've got the full blacked out grille. We have the black optic package, which is going to give you that most aggressive look. We also have these brand new Audi rings here with the flat finish, and then you've got some grille illumination that runs across the top and looks really cool at night. Now, of course, every Audi has very cool LED headlights. These are the digital matrix LEDs, so you've got projector low and high beams. You've got your turn signal indicator with the dynamic abilities, as well as your daytime running light right through there. Moving on to the wheels, we have a 21-inch alloy on board. Unique design on this wheel. As you can see, it's got these kind of lines in it, which I think match nicely to that headlight I was just showing you off. Of course, you have E-Tron branding here on the side. That's going to be your power charge door. And then as far as your mirrors, you're looking at the fully loaded spectrum of features, including auto dimming and power folding.
Now at this side, you're going to see a very traditional SUV shape, and as far as vehicle length, it's 193 inches long. Now I do want to point out, they do actually offer a sportback version of the E-Tron as well, so if you want a little bit more of a stylish design, you can choose that as well. Now let me go ahead and talk about the rear. Now, one of the things I like and appreciate about the Q8 e-tron is the fact that it does have a traditional Audi design to it, despite being electric. So we're going to have a spoiler up top, we have a rear window wiper, the new Audi beam rings, and then we're going to have a very traditional taillight design as well. It's going to go all the way across the back and be full LED. We have an LED brake light portion. As you can see, we also have the LED dynamic turn signal indicator, as well as an LED reverse light. Now as we drop down to the lower piece here, this is going to be finished in a piano black. E-tron is stamped into this area. Of course, you're not going to have any exhaust outlets. This is electric. As far as your tow rating, it comes in at 4,000 pounds. Now, when it comes to safety systems, you are going to have all of them as standard equipment, so that's even going to include things like adaptive cruise control. But there's a very luxurious cabin on the inside for this Q8 e-tron, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's check out the interior. First, here's your key fob. One of the things I like about this model is despite being electric, it still has the regular Audi smart entry system. Nothing complicated on board like digital key or anything like that. You can just grab behind the handle and unlock the door. Now, taking a look at the interior, obviously we're going to have a lot of those typical Audi design elements and luxury elements. And let's start off by talking about our seats. So since this is prestige level, the top trim, we have the premium Valcona leather. Every Q8 e-tron though will come with real leather. And as you can see, nice stitching details on board, really soft and supple as well, especially over here on the bolsters. We have, as a default, 8 ways of power adjustment, but we have extra adjustment on this model. Plus, we have power massage, which is a prestige exclusive feature. Memory seats are located over there on the door trim. But let's go ahead and fully climb inside. The prestige level does get you a soft closed door. And as far as the rest of the interior materials, obviously you're going to have a full leather covered armrest section, as well as through the center. Soft touch plastic along the top. As we move to the upper part of the dashboard, this is covered in a nice leather material with stitching. We have a beautiful open pore wood that goes across the center on this kind of shelf design. I really like the way that looks. And then down here in our lower elements, this is going to be padded with leather, although this one section right here is kind of a hard and cheap plastic. Let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start. Now let's look at some individual details. Again, the cabin is very conventional, so you've got a quite conventional gauge cluster, although as you can tell, in place of your normal tachometer, we have a percentage of electric power right over there. This is somewhat customizable, including things like putting your maps right there in the center display because it is virtual cockpit after all. Furthermore, we do have a head-up display with our prestige level model, rain sensing wipers, and then we've got this nice looking 4-spoke steering wheel. Your buttons are finished in a gloss black, and it is power, tilt, and telescoping as well as heated. Now, compared to the traditional gas Q8, you've got a lot more interior storage. So that's one of the benefits of buying an EV here. As you can see, first of all, you got the console. This is going to be not too big, but it is felt lined. What I'm really talking about is this whole area here. So you can really stick just about anything in this cavernous cubby. You also have your 2 cup holders inside, and then you've got this spot over here on the side of that. The shifter kind of floats out on this area, and it looks like this whole thing moves, but it's actually just this piece of metal here on the side. Pull back for drive, press forward for reverse. When you go into reverse, here is our 360-degree camera system. You've got a lot of different views you can pick from, and you can also do the 3D spin right there. Press the P on the end for park. Now, in terms of this other area here, of course, we have several available audio systems. This is a Bang & Olufsen sound system on this trim level. We have 2 different displays, which is typical for the Audi lineup. So this is 8.6 inches and 10.1 inches. The lower panel is really related mostly to climate controls. We have 4 zones of automatic climate, as well as heated and ventilated seats. And then the main infotainment system, like I said, is 10.1 inches. It has haptic feedback, so it feels like you're pressing into a real button, wireless Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay, as well as built-in navigation. Up above, we have our auto-dimming mirrors. HomeLink is inside the display. And then let's go ahead and roll back our sunshade on the panoramic sunroof. So as you can see, nice large piece of glass, and then also a lot of rivals don't open, but this one does.
Now let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat area for this Q8 e-tron. Now as far as space is concerned, we are going to have really good space figures. So we're looking at about 39 inches of legroom, 38.6 inches of headroom, which is quite good. Now if you choose the Sportback version, you are going to have a little bit of a reduction in headroom, I should say. Now, I'm on a time constraint today, so we don't have time to get our ruler out, but as you can see, this seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8", I'm 5'9". We're still going to have quite a bit of space, and my feet can slide up underneath of the seat. Now, as far as the seat itself, I do want to point out that it does not recline, so do be aware of that. The seats are pretty comfortable, though. Now, as far as features, here in the center, we do have vents. We're also going to have vents integrated into the B-pillar, so I like that they're in both spots. Climate is going to be adjusted for each passenger back here because it is a 4-zone setup, and heated rear seats are included on Premium Plus and above. Now, dropping down below that, we have a USB-C port connection and a 12-volt outlet. Nice fold-down center armrest with 2 cup holders inside. Very interesting way to do the cup holders right there. Looking at your door trim, it's going to be pretty nicely done. We have rear window sunshades here on the Prestige level, and most of the door trim is going to be made of nice materials. We have some soft touch plastic on the upper part, leather on the armrest portion, and then quite a bit of door storage. Now, walking up to the tailgate, of course, we have a power hands-free one. And as far as the space is concerned back here, we're going to have pretty good space figures as well. We're going to be looking at about 8.5 cubic feet of space behind the second row of seats, 56 cubic feet with those seats folded down, which they do fold really easily just by grabbing these levers there. 40-20-40 split folding is what you're going to be looking at. And as far as the Sportback, you do have a little bit of a reduced cargo capacity as well, although it's not really a massive amount that you're going to be losing out on. Now, underneath of the floor, you will find a spare tire as well as quite a bit of additional underfloor storage. But I'm sure you're curious as to how this Q8 e-tron drives, so let's go ahead and take it out for a spin. And I almost forgot to show you what's under the hood. We do have a frunk, but it's really, really small. Basically, the only thing it's going to function as is a way to maybe store the charging cable or a few little fast food items that you don't want stinking up the cabin. So don't expect to find a lot more cargo space under the hood. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Q8 E-Tron. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing all the things you see on the screen right now, including trying to get our sound level reading. But first, we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration because this is an EV after all.
All right, so that was a quick takeoff to about 70 miles an hour at that time. Obviously, we are
going downhill.
Going down a steep hill. But the 0 to 60 on board is about mid 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5.4 seconds according to Audi. That's pretty quick. That's going to pretty much match what you would find in a lot of other Audi gasoline products. And the actual horsepower itself is going to be quite good on this Q8 E-Tron. 402 horsepower is what you're looking at out of a dual motor all-wheel drive system that's standard across the board. Now, as far as the battery pack size, it's going to be a 114 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack, which that's actually a decent sized battery for sure.
Yeah, quite big.
But just kind of cruising down the highway here, I want to just go ahead and talk about ride quality. And the reason I want to talk about that is because we have an adaptive air suspension. And that's one of the very first things that you notice about this Q8 E-Tron is how good it rides. I think that's very important because, especially when you're looking for a luxury flagship SUV like this, it needs to have amazing ride quality. And we are going to find that here. We have, large wheels on the outside, and going over a bridge like that, it just does a fantastic job. And especially if you cross-shop it with other electric options that are in this price range, I feel like this is going to have significantly better ride quality than most of the alternatives that you will find. Also, I find these seats comfortable, and they have massaging, which is another thing that you're not going to find on something like a Tesla. Now, you may also want to know about range when it comes to the Q8 E-Tron, and we are sitting at pretty decent range figures. For this model, we're sitting at 285 miles as tested today. Like I said, there is only a dual motor all-wheel drive setup. It's an Audi after all, so they do want to have all-wheel drive as standard. Now, the Sportback actually goes up to better range than the standard configuration. So that is 296 miles, and you can even have up to 300.
Obviously, acceleration is going to be nice and smooth. This is not overwhelmingly fast, though. Compared to, say a Tesla, which is going to be a competitor to this, it's not going to blow you away in terms of your overall acceleration. I think, like we've been talking about throughout this video, one of the things that people like about this model is that it does feel like a traditional Audi. The acceleration, I think, has been tuned in a sense to almost mimic the type of power you would get out of a gasoline Q8, and just a very similar feel to that.
All right, and going ahead and putting it on fan speed 1 so we can get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. The rear climate has also been turned off. 60.1 decibels is what we are sitting at for the sound level reading in this Q8 E-Tron. Now, I do want to point out we are not in our home state of Kentucky. We're actually in Washington right now, and the thing about out here in the Pacific Northwest is that these roads are way louder than what we normally test out in Kentucky, so do keep that in mind. That is one of the quieter vehicles that we've tested out on this event. We've actually been driving a lot of different luxury vehicles, and this is definitely going to be on the quiet side. I would expect it to even be quieter than things like the Q8 gasoline version because, of course, you don't have any engine noise entering in, and Audi is still doing the same amount of sound deadening. You have really thick windows here. I can roll this down and show you just how thick the glass is, and that really does make for an overall very luxurious feel when you're just kind of driving along here in the Q8 E-Tron.
I do also want to mention the region. This has an adaptive region system, so that if you're like behind another vehicle or something like that, it is going to region stronger. And you can also change the regen settings manually yourself with the paddle shifters.
And let's discuss our slam dunk and airball favorite and least favorite element about the Q8 E-Tron. Now, I think easily today the slam dunk has to be the luxury feel. I think you would have to agree with me, Drew, on that. Is one of the best things about this is it feels like you're in an Audi. And some of the other electric competition does not have the level of luxury that you're going to find inside of here, especially some of the features as well. So I think that's a big benefit.
On the airball side of things, the range is not good enough for $90,000. You know, when you're talking about that price point, expectations are rising on what you're going to get. And especially given the size of the battery pack, the range comes in, you know, quite low, which tells you that this is more of an inefficient electric platform than many of the new electric cars that are coming out.
Now, as far as last things worth pointing out, you do have Audi's signature warranty, which is a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty. And let's talk pricing for the Q8 E-Tron. So we start at $74,400 for the base premium model. The Prestige goes up to $84,800 as a starting point. The Sportback is going to be about $4,000 more expensive. And if you want a vehicle optioned like what you see on today's example, you'll be expected to pay around $88,000. Now, if you're looking to buy an Audi Q8 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of this 2024 Audi Q8 E-Tron. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get more car reviews like this, as well as the latest car news and reviews. So you won't want to miss out. So do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.